the truth of the matter is that when you look at some of my policies, in a lot of ways, Richard Nixon was more liberal than I was. You know.
They had a very bad original concept. It was carried out poorly, and the cover-up was one of the worst in the history of cover-ups. Very simple. Bad deal, should have never been thought of. Somebody really messed up, and they had the worst cover-up ever. And where it should have stopped is at the deal standpoint when they thought about it, because whoever thought of that idea, I think is in big trouble. And where it should have stopped is at the deal standpoint when they thought about it. Bad deal, should have never been thought of.
8 months after his alleged meeting with the Burmese executives, so this Burmese, they say, pronounce it Burmese, a real beautiful company.
I'm about to be 34 and I have no family. Because my dad had 2 kids by the time he was 27.
Yeah.
And I'm like, man, you know what the problem is though? It's definitely not me.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's everybody else. I'm about to be 34 and I have no family. Because my dad had
this is sort of what power is. I mean this at a sort of high level. Like power, once it starts getting power, it just starts spreading and growing and morphing, right? And then it just takes everything. And good people just sit there and they're like, oh, I wanted to have Thanksgiving with the family, but half the family won't show up because they're afraid because they watch CNN all the time.
Only the really, I hate to say this, but those with the lowest IQ.
And by the way, I don't think that's some grand conspiracy. I think
they had a very bad original concept. And he's like this, and we were, I need water, help me, I need water, help. And this is on live television. As far as my relationships with all people, I think I have great relationships with all people. I am the least racist person in this room. No good, really bad for you. Bad deal, should have never been thought of. I don't wear a mask like him. Every time you see him, he's got a mask. He could be speaking 200 feet away from me. He shows up with the biggest mask I've ever seen. No good, really bad for you. No good, no good, no good, no good, no good, really bad for you. No good, 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 really bad for you. Well, you have to understand, the first time I ever heard of Black Lives Matter, they were chanting, pigs in a blanket, talking about police. Pigs, talking about our police. Pigs in a blanket, fry them like bacon.
The battle of righteousness versus Satan. Yes, Satan. Because these leftists are evil.
Hello, users, and welcome back to the broadcast. This is Above It All, episodic installation 1026. Hopefully you understand a little bit about the current state of alertness in my brain at this moment, given the last 10 seconds of our collective lifetime. But, hello everyone, and welcome back. This is Above It All for November 20th, 2020. That's correct. 11/20/20. It's happening. We got like 10 or 11 more years of this, folks, where it's like the day of the month can be also the year at the same time. Like people, as soon as 2032 rolls around, we're fucked. It's over, right? Like a whole generation of comedy gone. Imagine that, though. You get to live through an era where the day of the month of the month, and the year can all be the same. Like, remember 12-12-12? I hope so, because that was the last time you're ever going to see that kind of shit. Anyway, hope... Ooh, Nelly. Alright, so this is a bad show so far. Bad deal. Should have never been thought of.
Bad deal. Should have never been thought of.
And where it should have stopped?
And where it should have stopped is at the deal standpoint, where they thought about it.
I can't, dude. I can't. Anyway, there you go. Speaking of bad deals, let's just, like, Jesus. Right? Like, should we, I'm just gonna do this now. I'm just gonna, like, please, just give me a few moments here. There was a really bad deal over the last couple days. There was a really, really bad deal. One that very clearly, in my estimation, should have never been thought of, yet somehow, and again, I don't say this lightly, but somehow it was thought of. And, of course, what I'm speaking about is Rudy Giuliani's hair yesterday. And so, as you can see here, this is Rudy Giuliani. Again, he's not looking so good, folks. He's not looking so good. And I just wanted to...
And where it should have stopped is at the deal standpoint, where they thought about it.
Like, when I saw this, that was the first thing I thought of. This is, now, okay, hello chat room, by the way. I want everyone in the chat room to guess. What is this from?
Bad deal. Should have never been thought of.
Because you might be thinking, this is Donald Trump reacting to Rudy Giuliani's hair disaster, right? You might be thinking that.
This mess up now. We are going to clean this mess up now. We are going to clean this mess up now.
Okay, so I'm going to play the full clip. This isn't going to be a guessing game. If you can guess what Donald Trump is talking about in this full clip, you will win something. I don't know what it is. And I'm banking on the fact that no one's going to think of this, but you will win something.
They had a very bad original concept. It was carried out poorly, and the cover-up was one of the worst in the history of cover-ups. Very simple. Bad deal. Should have never been thought of. Somebody really messed up, and they had the worst cover-up ever. And where it should have stopped is at the deal standpoint, where they thought about it. Because whoever thought of that idea, I think, is in big trouble.
Where it should have stopped is at the deal standpoint, when they thought about it. Right, what could Donald Trump be talking about right there? Well, that's an old presser. That's not recent. But seeing Rudy Giuliani's hair, the first thing that went into my brain was it's a bad deal and it should have never been thought of. It really should have.
Bad deal. Should have never been thought of.
Should have never been thought of. Like, I just... Okay. And you know where it should have stopped?
And where it should have stopped is at the deal standpoint, where they thought about it.
I can't, dude. I can't. So what Donald Trump is talking about there, of course, you all guessed this correctly. Obviously, he's talking about the brutal assassination and dismembering of journalist Jamal Khashoggi. That's what he's talking about there, of course. You might be thinking, oh, he's talking about a bad deal. Should have never been thought of. Well, I mean, I agree with Trump on that one. Yeah, that should have never been thought of. But it was, in fact, a bad deal. And it should have, in fact, stopped at the deal standpoint where they thought about it. But I just like... God, that is such a funny bit of audio. And also, Rudy Giuliani, I'm sorry, I have to bring it back on screen. What is going on here? What is going on here?
No good, really bad for you.
Not good. Believe me, not good.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry, Rudy. I'm so sorry. Anyway, hello, users. I want to do a little bit of a funny opening segment. Hello, Katie Sigmund. So, reminder, there's a new contest, and I don't know what someone's going to win yet. I'm going to decide what they win as soon as they win. But Katie Sigmund, you're the first in the chat room. And if someone is able to become first 3 times in a row, you will win something. Now, I don't know what it is, but you will win something. So we'll just see how long that happens. So, Katie, if you can show up at exactly... And again, the thing about this is I start the stream page kind of randomly. Like, sometimes I'll start the stream page at like 8 in the morning. Sometimes I'll start it at like 9:55. Whoever is first in the chat room, it's going to be a reigning title. So, then we got Mr. Mud Joseph. We've got Dev J, who still doesn't have a username for some bizarre reason. We have Bodan. You're in time for the show. That's correct. Hello, Dusty Scarlet. Dusty Scarlet, I have news for you. We may have to push our conversation back to tomorrow because I have to go to the grocery store at some point today. So I'm just throwing that out there. Hello, Will D. It's way too early for me, but here I am. Hello, Fun Police. Hello, Nick Wash. Hello, Aunt Tifa. Hello, Felix Cornelius. Hello, Satanic Panic. 99 cents. I appreciate the devil that you're posting in the super chat room. Of course, I do want to say that for those that are listening to this show on the audio, or those that aspire to do so, you can do so on anchor.fm/aboveitall. You can listen to the audio version of this show. That is usually up ASAP when I finish the live stream. So if, like, you know, you're browsing and you see the live stream still on and it's like, oh, you look at the clock and it's like 11:15 and you're like, I'll just wait for the audio version. Anchor.fm/aboveitall. It's going to be there. So throwing that out there. NAFTA, says Antifa. Nope, I'm afraid it was not NAFTA at the deal standpoint. Oh my God. You'd think, you know, a bad deal should have never been thought of. I mean, but there's a lot of things that should have never been thought of. Hello, Unknown Story. Hello, MTB Department. I mean, I'm down to send some hair in the mail. I mean, if that's an appropriate prize, if someone wants to show up first in the chat room 3 times and you get a lock of my hair, I'm willing to do that. That's fine. I'm also willing to do that for Patreon rewards. If someone wants to give me like $40 on Patreon, I'll send you some hair. That's fine with me. Hello, Peter Hossman. What's poppin'? Alright, so I've got a little bit, and I'm going to do this at the end of the program here, but I've got a little bit of like a question, you know, like a big Q. And I'm not talking about where we go one, we go all. I'm talking about like the big Q. So I got like a question, and I'm going to present this question at the end of today's broadcast. So, hello, Mr. Cyrus. You're only fun when you're game streaming. No good. That's a really bad message. That's a really bad message. And you know what I think of that message, Mr. Cyrus?
And where it should have stopped is at the deal standpoint, when they thought about it.
You shouldn't have pressed enter. I'm sorry. It should have stopped at the deal standpoint, I'm afraid. Yeah, so... I'm sorry. Let me drink some more coffee. Oh, Jesus. Donald Trump? Again, we've only got a couple weeks left of this guy. Like 2 more months. What is it, like 8, 9 weeks? You got like 8 or 9 weeks left of Donald ass motherfucking asshole. So that's fun. When am I speedrunning again? Huh. What is huh? I don't know when I'm speedrunning again. I've been going through a little bit of a thing lately, so I haven't been doing much. When am I speedrunning again, though? Every Sunday. If you were a real gaming fan, Mr. Cyrus, what do you mean, when am I speedrunning again? That's a great question, actually. Yeah, I prefer your gaming streams. I prefer them so much that I don't even know that you do one every single week called Sunday Run Day that you have been doing for multiple years. That's how much I love your gaming streams. You're so much more entertaining when you do gaming streams. And I love them so much that I had no idea that you do a weekly game show. Come on, Mr. Cyrus. No good. No good.
No good. No good.
I have an idea about what I should play next. I'm sure you do, Bodan. There's a lot of ideas floating out there. Is it Doom Eternal, perhaps? Is that your idea? Anyway, so I need to get high before I talk about Donald Trump. I'm sorry. Yeah. I know, right? I know, but it's just, you know, it's the morning. It's 9:30. It's 10:30, actually. It's 10:15, so just give me a little bit here. All right, y'all. So, Donald ass motherfucking ass, also known as the President of the United States, Donald ass motherfucking ass has been on a tweet storm, a tweet rampage, some could even say. Been tweeting out some really bad stuff, and whoo! Let me just tell you. So, one thing I want to talk about here is that Marjorie Taylor Greene is getting retweeted. This is something that I talked about months ago. Is Marjorie Taylor Greene's a QAnon person? As soon as like she won that Republican primary in like June or whatever, was it June or May? I forget. As soon as like it was just all fate at that point. And so she's promoting these like really bizarre conspiracy theories like almost every single day, and Donald Trump is like retweeting them almost every single day. And so, like, I want to just look at some of the shit. This is the President of the United States. And I just want to say, when it comes to retweeting Marjorie Taylor Greene, this is my editorial.
And where it should have stopped is at the deal standpoint, when they thought about it.
That's what I think of that situation. Yeah, so this guy has been tweeting like a motherfucker. Look, he's got charts. Like, this shit's fresh off of 4chan. It's bizarre stuff. It's bizarre stuff, okay? Look at this in Michigan. A day after the election, Biden receives a dump of 134,886 votes at 6:31 a.m. Again, we knew that this was going to happen. It was called, there was a name for it, the Red Mirage. There were poll after poll after poll indicating Republicans are more likely to vote on Election Day. Democrats are more likely to vote via mail. Poll after poll after poll. It was like 70-30, I think. Like, Election Day, Trump, mail, Biden. It was like around that. And so we knew this. We had a term for it. We being the political pundit class. That's officially what I am identifying as now. I'm a political pundit. That's correct. My metamorphosis is complete. So, like, we knew that. Everyone knew that. There was data on this, and yet somehow Donald Trump is still confused as to how Biden could get increasing vote totals as mail-in ballots began to be counted. It's bizarre. It's strange. And then so you also have him tweeting about Wisconsin, where similar things are occurring. Now again, We knew that this was going to happen. Oh my God. Donald Trump. Great book. What is this? Jesus Christ. See, this is the thing. If Matt Gaetz can write a book, I can write a book. Like, seriously. If Matt Gaetz can write this, what the fuck is Firebrand? Dispatches from the front lines of the MAGA revolution. Yo, if Matt Gaetz can write a book, I can write a book. I'm gonna write a fucking book. Anyway, so like, I just wanted to say that Donald Trump has just been tweeting out a bunch of batshit conspiracy theories about this election. And again, they've all been debunked. These are all debunked conspiracy theories. He retweeted one this morning, right? He's retweeting these conspiracy theories. And it's just like, I really, like, what do we do about this? Again, what do we do about this?
Bad deal. Should have never been thought of.
No good, no good. But again, like, this is unprecedented. I know, we've had Trump for 4 years. I know, it's at this point it feels like, oh, it's just another day in the Trump administration, and that's correct. But you have to understand, we are breaking new ground here. We have never had a president lose re-election after one term and deny the results. That has never happened. That has never happened in the history of happenings. And I do have to say, it is, in fact, this is the worst cover-up ever. And where it should have stopped is at the deal standpoint, because, again, we knew about this. We knew that there was going to be a red mirage. There was data on this. Yet, somehow, 50%, there's a poll that came out yesterday that I forgot to talk about, so I'll talk about it here. 50% of Republicans somehow think that Donald Trump is the rightful winner. That's not good, folks. That's no good. That's a recipe for disaster come January. This transition period, right? It's not going to be like my transition period, which was beautiful and amazing and turned me into a lovely person. It's going to be ugly, it's going to be brutal, and it's going to be rough. And I'm not talking about rough as in the dog bark. I'm talking about rough as in it's going to be muddy, it's going to be gross, and it's going to be bloody. And it's going to be bizarre, that's for sure. So I just wanted to take a moment. Again, I know, Trump derangement syndrome, blah, blah, blah. The guy's still the president. When the guy leaves the Oval Office, if the guy leaves the Oval Office, don't you worry. I will be watching Biden like a hawk on a daily basis. You have no need to fret about that. But Trump is still in there. We got to still talk about him. So that's kind of why I like talking about Trump every day. That, and it gives me fun clicks. It's something to do. I don't know. Something to fucking do. Something to do. Right? Something to do. Like, what the fuck? I could just sit here and smoke weed, or I could sit here and smoke weed and talk about the President of the United States. Like, come on, man. Exactly, and I'll be able to buy the game if there's a discount on Black Friday. Oh yeah, Black Friday is coming up. That being the case, I should announce to everyone here, every year after Black Friday, there is a somewhat semi-official holiday called Cyber Monday. And because my online username is CyberDemon, every year I celebrate Cyber Monday by speedrunning video games. So it's very possible that over the course of, I might start like that weekend, like maybe Sunday, start with Sunday Run Day. I may do a little bit of a speedrun marathon that will last a couple days. Throwing that out there. There's going to be other things that coincide with that I may speak about later in the show. But I'm throwing that out there. If you want to see like all-day streams, I'm planning, and again, this is at the deal standpoint, so it could stop at the deal standpoint. It's very possible. But as of this moment, we're at the deal standpoint, and I'm planning on doing maybe like at least 4 hours a day of like just video game stuff from like Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. That's kind of like, and maybe Thursday. I don't know. It depends. There's lots of variables there. And of course, again, we're at the deal standpoint, so I'm still thinking about it. But that's what I got to say about that. So this is this morning's news. So this came out this morning. I saw this. I woke up and I was like, you know, like when you wake up, right? Where's my phone? So you wake up, let me give you a little bit of a LARP here. So this is my sleep mask, right? I put this on to sleep. So I wake up and I'm like, ugh, right? Ah! That's me. So I take my sleep mask off, right? Usually I don't put it on over the headphones. And I throw it across the room. It's gone. It's lost. one of the nightly rituals I have is looking for my sleep mask because I always throw it somewhere. So now my hair is disheveled, right? I'm waking up. Unfortunately, I don't have this coffee by my bed, but I'm going to drink it right now. So this is like a little intermission. Right, I check my phone. I'm like, okay. Oh no, it's 9:45. I gotta do my podcast in 10 minutes. I slept late again. So I refreshed Twitter, because of course Twitter was the last thing I had open on my phone, right? So I'm like, browsing, doom scrolling Twitter, and then I finally fall asleep. So I open my phone, I look at Twitter, I refresh, and what do I see? I see this. Let's watch.
I think I had an idea, when with the world so divided and everybody, telling him he's got to give up and time to leave and time to transition and all the rest of it. Why not name?
It is, in fact, and I want to say this, and I want to say this proudly. It is, in fact, time to transition. I forgot to take my hormone medication this morning, so I'm going to do so right now. Thank you, Geraldo Rivera, for reminding me. Going to down some spironolactone. I love spironolactone. Here's some estradiol. There we go. Thank you, Geraldo. Anyway, move on.
To give up and time to leave and time to transition and all the rest of it. Why not name the vaccine the Trump? Make it like, have you gotten your Trump yet? No, it would be a nice gesture to him. And years from now, it would become just a kind of a generic name. Have you got your Trump yet? Oh, yeah, I got my Trump. I'm fine. I wish we could honor him in that way, because he is definitely the prime architect of this Operation Warp Speed. And but for him, we'd still be waiting, into the grim winter for these amazing, miraculous medical breakthroughs. So let's talk about earlier. I think I had an idea,
You know this idea? You know this idea?
And where it should have stopped is at the deal standpoint, when they thought about it.
No, Lord, please, no. But I love the idea that, this is on national television. This is on Fox News. Fox News is the reason why Trump is president. Without Fox News, there is no Trump presidency. Fox News. They're having conversations talking about the president, not like, a CEO of some company who's a little eccentric. They're talking about the president of the United States of America as if he is a toddler. Like, they are literally talking about this motherfucker as if he's a baby. Like, oh, wouldn't that be nice? Wouldn't that be something, it'll really make him happy over the next couple months. People are saying he needs to transition. People are saying he should just go ahead and get, the transition. And then, it's like, so I think it would be nice if we just named the little vaccine after him. Nothing big, just to keep his ego pumped up so that he can get the hell. Like, again, this is the president of the not like, some of those states. This isn't the president of Arkansas and Alabama. This is the president of the United States, right? The states in this situation, in this scenario, they're united. And they've all got one president, and it's Donald fucking Trump. And you have Geraldo Rivera, who's, singing him lullabies and going on fucking TV in the morning saying, yeah, I think, the president's not having a good time. Let's listen to the start of this one. Again, it really sounds like the guy's in timeout or something.
Earlier. I think I had an idea, when with the world so divided and everybody, telling him he's got to give up and time to leave and time to transition and all.
Like, they're treating him like a fucking baby.
Bad deal. Should have never been thought of.
I just I know. Right, it's Trump. I know the context and everything. But, these videos, I want these videos to be evergreen. I want someone in the year 2037 to scroll through the archives of YouTube or my show. And I want them to, okay, what was this idiot, bitch, bastard ass fuck saying in November 2020, when Donald Trump would refuse to leave the White House? I want people to be able to look back and see what I was saying, and this is what I'm saying. This is what I'm saying.
And where it should have stopped is at the deal standpoint, when they thought about it.
I'm sorry, I'm getting a little bit too much use out of that sound drop, but it's so funny. But again, this is just, it's really wacky stuff. As Bernie Sanders said on CNN the other day, it's crazy stuff what's going on in the Republican Party. Absolutely crazy stuff. And that leads me to my next thing that I want to talk about. This is the 2024, there was some polling done. And I'm going to talk about that in a second. So, but again, some crazy stuff. Crazy stuff. I can't believe it. I'm sure Grandpa Z50 here doesn't think Candy Crush or any other trash mobile experience on his phone is a game. I also think that. Unknown story. Contrary to popular belief, Candy Crush is not a game. Candy Crush is the code name for the disease otherwise known as diabetes. And as someone who tries to eat healthy, I am currently drinking black coffee, no soy in this one. There's no soy in this one. I'm all out of soy. That's why I have to go to the grocery store after today's show, because I have to go get some more soy. I have to stockpile up my soy. But, you know, like, I don't know where that was going. I'm just fucking chatting shit here. I'm just chatting shit. That I forget who says that. Chatting. I think that's like a fucking British slang or something. Oi, I'm just chatting shit. Also, hello, Thorman. Are you my new friend? I don't know if I recognize you. If you're my new friend, thank you for that. I appreciate my new friend. So yeah, I got one more thing I'm going to talk about, and then we're going to pontificate. That's correct. You know, the title of this show is Extraordinarily Attractive Intellectual Anarchist Thot Pontificates. That is the title of this show. And so for the last like 20 minutes or so, I'm going to pontificate. But I got one more thing I want to talk about, and that is the 2024 Republican primary polling that was done. So, this is, now again, this is like the first poll I've seen of this regard. So again, there's so many different factors here. There's you know, again, there's a lot going on here. 4 years out, anything can happen. But the thing is here is you want to, like, I don't know exactly, and I'm not going to research it. I know, right? I can click on the poll right here. I'm not going to do that. I know, right? Like, you're watching this video, you're probably thinking, oh shit, am I watching a journalist or a fucking stupid bitch? Chances are you're watching a stupid bitch. But anyway, I don't know if these names were push-polled. Like, it's like, would you vote for the following people? Or if it was just like the person on the other line was like, yeah, well, I'm thinking about Rick Santorum, man. I'm thinking about, like, I don't know, like, was the 1% who votes or wanted to vote for Santorum? Are they like, is this like a write-in campaign? You know, I don't know what's going on here. So, but anyway, Trump had, I think, 96% of the votes in the primaries in 2020. And so that, like, obviously incumbent president, blah, 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 right? But people have been saying the idea that there's a fracture in the Republican Party coming. I've been saying this for a while now. And this is why I'm so in on Trump 2024. Because you have people like, by the way, Tom Cotton, not even on this poll. Like, Tom Cotton's literally not even here. That's weird, but okay. But you've got people that want to vote for the, you know, the rich snobby, like, oh yeah, look at me. Hello, I'm Mitt Romney, like those types. People want to vote for those types. And then you got people, you know, that are like the neo-Nazis. Yeah, I know, I'm throwing them in there. I'm sorry for the Trump supporters out there, but let's be honest here. A huge portion of the coalition that made Trump president, the neo-Nazis, right? So you got the racists, you got the Nazis, you got these, like, people who think abortion is such a bad deal and it should have never been thought of, that they're willing to murder millions of kids in foreign countries just to make sure abortion stays slightly more restricted than it could be. I don't really understand. They call themselves pro-life, but again, they vote for people that murder and massacre orphanages, you know, in the Middle East. So pro-life, massacring school buses of children, not like those don't really, you know, I'm not really sure about that one, but that's what they call themselves. But like the Trump coalition are the crazy people, like they're nutso. But it's interesting here that, okay, now this is the thing. If Trump 2024 happens, I think he'll win the primary. I don't think there's much of a fight he's going to have to pick up here. Now, again, this is a poll done in the week following Trump refusing to concede. So there's probably going to be a lot of people at this moment that see this kind of thing and go like, Trump's embarrassing me, I'll vote for anyone else. And they'll go like Romney or Pence or whatever. Now, I think if Trump ran in 2024, he'd be able to easily lock up like 50 at bare minimum, probably closer to 75 to 80% of the vote. I think that would be actually what occurs in a primary. But it's interesting, again, that Trump only has 25%. I would have figured that Trump would be closer to 50 if a poll like this came out. But only 25 is interesting. And again, I know a lot of people on here are probably just under the assumption that maybe Trump won't run in 2024. I don't know if this is a push poll. There's a chances are, if it's not a push poll, people just don't know if Trump's going to run in 2024 and they just go with their next, Romney, Pence. It's totally possible that if Trump runs, the 14% that said they'll vote for Pence, Trump's going to run again? All right, I'm back on the Trump train. It's totally possible, right? So I'm just throwing that out there. But it's interesting to see these names. Like Nikki Haley? What? Ted Cruz? Come on, man. John Kasich? Come on. And this is the other thing. Tucker Carlson, 5%. You see these Lincoln Project dudes going up there on national television. Tucker Carlson is the future of the Republican Party. And it's like, right, now, my opinion on Tucker Carlson being the future of the Republican Party.
And where it should have stopped is at the deal standpoint, when they thought about it.
Not good, folks. But only 5% in this poll. I don't know. That's interesting. But again, I don't know. This is the first poll of this sort. And so I just wanted to kind of talk about it, at least the first poll that I've seen. And again, if Trump does run again, he will win the Republican primary. There's unless there's like a massive scandal. And again, as Trump said, I think he could shoot someone on Fifth Avenue and still become president again, or at least still win a Republican primary at the very minimum. And I don't think that magic is going away anytime soon. Can a president who lost really run again? Grover Cleveland, 22nd and 24th president. Lost to, I believe, Benjamin Harrison, and then ran again 4 years later, and then beat Benjamin Harrison and became the 22nd and 24th president, the only person to serve 2 non-consecutive terms. So it is possible. We'll see how likely it is to happen, though. So that's what I got to say. Bodan says, can you explain the fire in a silhouette of a person on my show's back? This was the first night of the George Floyd Minneapolis uprising. There was a photo. This was actually just caught on a live stream of, I believe it was Unicorn Riot had a live stream. And they just caught someone, and there was a burning police car. And this person gave this really badass pose. So I just kind of made that the logo because I agree with that. I agree with it. So here is the full photograph. Burning police car. And this is like, low bit rate. This is a live stream. This happened on I believe, the first night of the George Floyd uprising. So I thought it was a very good photo. And also, I love the Nancy Pelosi clap thing. I love the dynamic of the Nancy Pelosi, like, sideways clap with someone like burning down, like burning a police car. It's just like, it's a really good, contrast, juxtaposition, if you will. And I think that represents my show. So going for that. Racist abuse of English. The English. Lol. Interesting chat message. Alright, so let's get in on what's a clapping in that way. Alright. During the State of the Union, I want to say it was 2019. Or was it 2018? I want to say it was 2019. It might have been 2018. No, it was 2019 because it was after the midterms. Right. So it was State of the Union 2019. And Trump finishes his speech. The State of the Union is where all of the elected officials, Congress, cabinet, they all get together and they do like this big speech. And it's like, America, America. And so after the speech, everyone is supposed to clap. Nancy Pelosi claps like this, like a sarcastic, like she's sitting right behind the president. So like she's aiming the clap like at his head. And it's kind of funny. But of course, Nancy Pelosi is a neoliberal ghoul. Like she's not like a good politician. So this is like one of the things that she does. Oh, she does the clap, and then people on Twitter were like, Queen, slay, Queen Nancy, hero, resist, Queen, slay Queen Nancy, resist, #resist. And then again, like a couple months later, she just voted for a Trump military budget, allowing the Senate to vote for more judges, like all that. Like Nancy Pelosi has been a disaster. Like I think if you look at the history books, Donald Trump, Mitch McConnell, we'll throw Paul Ryan in there for the first 2 years of the Trump presidency, Nancy Pelosi. On the list of the top 5 villains of the last 4 years, Nancy Pelosi is easily in the top 5. But the clap is hilarious. It's a fucking really funny clap. No, she ripped up the address this year, I believe. 2020, I believe, was when she ripped up the address. Unless I've got my years wrong, but I don't think I do. No, she does not. Nancy Pelosi does not resist Trump. Votes for all the military budgets. All that kind of crap. But again, it's a really, really funny image. And so again, I love the contrast of burning down police cars and Nancy Pelosi clapping. Pretty good. Pretty good. If you ask me, pretty good. But speaking of things that are pretty good, and this is the part where I get to the show, the Pontification Station. That's going to be my new offshoot brand. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Pontification Station. But no, for real. So I've been thinking, and so how many? I got 30 people in here. Okay, so I've been thinking, should I do an upgrade? Now, hear me out here. So, my equipment that I've got, my webcam, the tripod that I use my webcam on, like for those wondering, right, like I have a stack of video games. And I've got like let me just take it off. This is my tripod, right? Just, it's really old. A lot of the shit I've got is like 3 years old, right? So I've been thinking, should I do an upgrade? Now, I have been gaining a lot more popularity. I've been getting a lot more viewers. I've been getting a lot more money on YouTube from ads, super chats, Patreon, all that stuff. So I'm starting to be able to save money every month. Maybe do a David Pakman style setup. I'm certain that you mean a Sam Cedar style setup, as that's where Dave Pakman stole his set from. But okay, so my microphone I've had for like 3 years. All this stuff. Now, people say my microphone is bad. Right? That's totally possible. People say my webcam could be better. Totally possible. Also, look at, like, I have no set here. It's my bed. I've got my blanket on the floor, right? I've got a box there for some reason. And I've got posters, not on the wall, but on the floor, right? So it's very possible I could do an overhaul of the entire show. Because, again, this year, I started this whole thing this year. And it's been pretty good. But I feel like if I could do like a huge overhaul by the time that the new year starts, I feel like it would be pretty cool. I could get a new microphone, right? I could maybe not have my clunky headset on all the time, make me look less like a gamer and more like a serious person. So like, I've got a question to those that watch the program. Since y'all give me money on an infrequent but frequent enough basis for me to be able to save money on a month-to-month basis. So I want to kind of say, like, what should I do with this excess income? I already have a desk. I think a desk is the last thing I would need. Unknown Story says, I would go desk, then mic, then cam. Your cam is fine right now. I think the camera is probably the thing in least of need for an upgrade. I would say the camera is probably fine. But the tripod, I could get a better one of those. Instead of using video game cases and like a $4 plastic thing I got off of Amazon, I could probably get a better setup on that. I don't think I need a new desk. I don't know if that's necessary. If I did get a new desk, I'd like to get a standing desk. But I mean, that's a lot of money. So, now, on the other coin of this, now again, we're just pontificating here. This is the pontification station portion of the show. If I were to do a concentrated kind of like, okay, let's find a microphone to get. That's X amount of dollars. Let's find maybe I could do like, you know, some new kind of, you know, webcam stand. Maybe I could get some background material. Really, I just want to like kind of increase the production quality, like just a little bit. A digital TV behind you type thing. I mean, I would need to get a digital TV behind me like that. Like if you want to give me $300 or whatever, that's fine. That's fine. Will D, I feel like if I'm going to get a microphone that is an upgrade, I would want to spend probably at least $100 on getting like something that will last me like for the rest of my life, presumably. Again, the average lifespan for trans people is like 35, so I've only got a couple years left. I'm sorry, I make that joke too much. But no, I mean, like I would rather like $20 condenser mic. That sounds good, but it's like if I'm going to spend money on a new setup, I would rather have it be like future proof. You know what I mean? No, I am streaming from my bed, but I do have a desk. Like this is my setup here. Desk. Right. There you go. I don't know what was visible in that. Feel free not to look through the archives and play hide and seek or, you know, whatever. But yeah, so my question again is because I don't have money, right? So it's like y'all are the ones, y'all being collectively, that watch the show, give me the ad revenue, give me super chats, PayPal, Patreon, that stuff. Like, if I were to explicitly come up with, like, let's say, I could come up with a complete overhaul to this, like, production quality for, let's say, $400 to $500, would y'all be willing to, I don't know, like, agree with that? We could create, like, you know, some sort of community resource and then maybe help fund the thing by the end of the year. I'm just throwing that out there. Again, Pontification Station. Because, like, right now, people just give me money for the sake of giving me money, which I appreciate, of course. But I feel like if I had said, like, oh, if you give me money, then maybe the program will be better, and I won't just spend the money on marijuana next week, right? If that's the case, I feel like maybe people would be more compelled to give me money. That's possible. I don't know. That's why I'm asking. That's why I'm asking. So, like, let me know what, like what y'all's situation is. Because I really kind of want to do, like, a little bit of an overhaul here. I think that that would be good. I think it would help me expand the audience. One of the things, and now, again, I don't really care much about what people think of me on arbitrary bullshit, right? But one of the things that I do know is that the low production value makes people not take me seriously. Now, again, I don't really care about that, right? But as far as, like, doing this as a business is concerned, as far as, like, trying to gain more and more attention online, because at the end of the day, I'm an attention whore, right? I do feel like having a slightly upgraded situation here would make me look like a more serious person. Now, again, people will just watch the first 30 seconds and immediately realize how unserious I am. But if I look serious, I don't know. I don't watch podcasts. Like, I don't browse. Y'all are the ones that are finding my show. So this is like a back and forth here. Another thing. I'd like to see you like those North Korean newscasters. Oh my god. Another thing. Super chats. They're great. I love them. However, PayPal donations, I get like double the money. Like if you spend like $10 on me in a super chat, I'll realistically only end up getting like $5 to $6 or maybe $7 of it. I don't know what the exact percentage is. Though, if you give me money on PayPal, I'll get like 99% of it. So I'm just like throwing this out there. It's out there. You know, it's an opinion of somebody, right? And that is a retweet. It is an opinion of somebody.
Retweet. That was an opinion of somebody.
Right, so what do we think here? How about Patreon? Patreon is also good. Patreon, I get, I think, like 95% of the cash on Patreon. Patreon or PayPal, those are preferable. And I'm just throwing these in the chat. just for posterity. Now again, I appreciate super chats, and I'm not trying to sound like I'm an ungrateful piece of shit, but I'm also like, I'm a straight shooter, in every capacity except for my sexual preferences. So I figured, again, if that's like a thing, I'm gonna give money to this bitch ass streamer, might as well do it in a way that does not give a corporation more money than they should have. You know what I'm saying? So that's kind of what I'm going out here. So, and again, I'm not like saying like give me money immediately. I don't even have a plan here. Like this is like I'll come up with a plan. Like if more people than not say that, yeah, that would be nice to see an upgrade on the show production, I'll come up with like a plan. I'll come up with a budget, and then we'll do like a little fundraiser. I feel like that would be cool. But yeah, like, does anyone have any other, like, I could get a TV behind me, but that's going to cost, like, a lot of money for, like, what am I going to put on the TV? Like a screensaver? I don't know if I'm going to get a $300, $400 TV to put a screensaver on it, But, I mean, if I had that money, like, if it was, like, everyone's like, dude, you need that screensaver behind you, it'd be like, okay, I'll get the screensaver. But, I'm just, like, throwing things out there, pontificating. Again, we're in the pontification station half of the show. So let me know. Give me some feedback here. I feel like there's a mass exodus. People are leaving. They're not responding. I mean, I like lo-fi too, but like, I used to be a video game streamer, and now I'm not. So it's like, I gotta kind of like come to grips with that, And it's like, being a video game streamer, it's like, okay, the main thing about my streams was the video game. So for me, I've got the the best possible capture card quality. Like, I can stream PS1 games in 1080p, like, from the console itself. I spent hundreds of dollars on that shit because that's what I was doing back in the day. And, like, I still do video game stuff, but it's not my primary focus anymore. So it's like, if I'm going to switch my primary focus to a political podcast, I should probably invest in things that were directly beneficial to a political podcast. You know what I'm saying? Like, the reason I got a headset microphone is because the microphone wasn't that important. And also, I wanted a good headset to listen to the video game sounds from. But it's like, if I'm going to listen to Geraldo Rivera talk about the Trump vaccine, I don't need a fucking bulky headset on with a microphone. I can just get like a podcast mic, a mic stand, that kind of shit, and then just go from there. You know what I'm saying? But also, I haven't really looked up how much money this would be. Hello, Nicholas Nordland. Go for it. Present a plan and a sum you need with a count of how close we are to reach the goal, and we will ship in. Well, personally, I have seasickness whenever I go near the ocean, so I don't know if you want to ship in. But if you want to chip in, I'm sorry. I've never been on a boat. I just made that up. But anyway, yeah, that's the thing. I'm just throwing this out here now. So it's like, it so far seems that people are more than happy to at least help me come up with a plan here. You will decimate the charm of the show. Uh-oh, here we go. All right, Mark Lawrence. Prole fighting the super PAC with a pitchfork and torch. I mean, I get ya. Now, here's the thing. If I did an upgrade, and this is a very valid point here, because I appreciate the look at me, I'm a poor bitch mentality. But like, at the very least, a better microphone would that would go a long way. Like, I can still have my clothes on the floor. I can still have, like, I can, like, maybe if you want, get some water damage on my ceiling. Maybe, like, anything. I could, like, just get it like a spray bottle and just keep spraying the corner of the ceiling. And then maybe that would make the background look a little better. But, I mean, I'm not someone who's like, yeah, give me $10,000 and I'm going to go buy a fucking studio apartment and convert that into, like, I'm not doing that shit. Like, that's not on the table. So I'm just throwing that out there. Like, really, like, at the end of the day, it would be, like, better microphone, potentially better lighting, better webcam stand, you know, like, that kind of stuff. Like, that's really what we're talking about. And if that's the case, I mean, $300. I mean, I haven't really looked into this too much, but maybe $300. I don't know. Like, is there anything else that people can think about? And if you're watching this show in the archive, if you're watching the archive of this, feel free to send me an email. This is kind of a live stream centric. If you're watching the podcast, feel free to send me an email, Andrea@speed.dog. If you have any suggestions. I'm sorry for that noise. You could self-publish. I think that's the only way to do it without having a lot of money. Self-publish what? I'm sorry. What am I self-publishing? I'm not following along. My apologies. Just a little blog. I've been having trouble sleeping lately. I only got like 4 hours of sleep. No good. So, just throwing that out there. I notice I'm like rubbing my eyes quite a bit, so I'm just throwing that out there. I mean, if y'all want to give me money to write a book, I'll write a book. Matt Gaetz wrote a book. I just talked about this earlier. Matt Gaetz has a book about the fucking MAGA revolution. If Matt Gaetz can pay someone to ghostwrite a book for him, I can do that. So maybe I'll write a book. I don't know. But yeah, so okay. So a microphone. Now again, I don't know how much that would cost for like one that would be good enough forever. Is my situation. I don't need a new computer. Like my computer is fine. I got a multiple $1,000 machine when I was a video game streamer. Believe it or not, I used to be successful when it comes to monetary gains back in the day, but a lot of people don't know those stories. Maybe I'll go into them. I've been eating very healthily for I've been a vegetarian for 8 months. Fun police. 8 months. Since April, go back and watch my videos from April. Since April, I have lost 60 pounds. 60 pounds I have lost since April. Look at me, right? Look at me. Look at me. You see me? There we go. There we go. I feel the best I've ever been in my life. You could have a desk, but streaming from your bed can't be comfortable. Would you want a good computer chair? It's relatively comfortable. I mean, it really does depend. Like, when I do video games, I like the ability to, like, do this, you know? Like, I like the ability to do that. But, I mean, I don't know. I could just... I mean, a chair is a good thought. I mean, that's... I don't know how much a chair is. How much is a chair? Like, is that, like, $100 for a good chair? Hey, Collapse. That's Pog. I'm afraid I do not understand. But yeah, I mean, I always have streamed from my bed because I've just been very much so a minimalist. $300 for a fucking chair? Dude, I was thinking like the overall budget for this like expansion to the show would be $300. And now you're telling me $300 would be just for a fucking chair? Jeez. A microphone costs like a third of the price as a fucking chair? Collapse. Lol, I was talking about you being a vegetarian. Yeah, no, I've always wanted to be a vegetarian, and this is kind of like the first... In a lot of ways, 2020, I mean... You know, again, I don't want to get far off into this fucking vil, but... 2020 for a lot of intents and purposes is like kind of like the first year of my life in a lot of ways, and I could talk about that more at another time. But it's like I've always wanted to be a vegetarian, but I never knew how to cook for myself, and I never had food to eat. So it was just like what kind of food a family member could spare at the time, I would eat. It was kind of situation. But you know, I learned how to cook this year. I've been making enough money on YouTube to be able to feed myself relatively easily. So, I mean, yeah, it was a really good year for me. Y'all gotta check out Maya Ben David's project about cosplaying as PewDiePie's chair. Maybe I will. Even losing all that weight you haven't taken from the Pennsylvania and the WUG. Oh? Yes, that's correct. That's correct. Most of my fat loss has been in the belly region. My belly used to be a little chunky. It is no longer that chunky. It's still like, it's there. I mean, being obese for fucking 15 years is going to do some damage. But I mean, I'm working on it. I hope by this time next year I can have some sort of ab action. That's my goal. But so far, I mean, my goal this year was to lose belly fat, and boom, got a month left and I'm almost, I'm pretty much there. Pretty good. Pretty good. Brown Dragon, are you my new friend? I don't think I've ever spoken to you. Damn, I just learned about how bad antibiotic resistance is about to get, and I'm about to go on that no meat train. Cool to hear you've done it. What do you mean antibiotic resistance is? When it comes to vegetarianism? Or what? Because I know, being a vegetarian, you have to get a lot of supplemental vitamin. Well, you don't need to supplement them, but you have to look for vitamins like B12. For example, I have a B12 supplement, and I get B12 in a lot of my foods. I get B12 in a lot of the things that but sometimes, I don't. So sometimes I'll pop a B12 supplement, and you don't need to do them every single day, but you do them and you do them. Yes, clearly you haven't seen Cooking with the Bitch. Go watch Cooking with the Bitch. My cooking program that I should do more episodes of, but okay, so here's another thing. If I got a better tripod, I could do more Cooking with the Bitch more creatively. Let's expand the potential fundraising. Let's say I spent $50 on a really versatile tripod. I could do some crazy stuff with Cooking with the Bitch. So, throwing that out there. Hell, maybe I'll do a fundraiser for a new phone, right? At this point, the sky's the limit. But I don't want to I don't want to say, hey, I'm doing a fundraiser, give me $5,000. That's more than I make in a whole year, right? So I'm not looking about that shit. But I would like a new phone, but Losing weight in a pandemic is amazing. Yes, I made the decision in April, with Bernie Sanders' campaign exiting with the coronavirus and everything. I was like, okay, so there's two options. One, I've been depressed my whole life. I can continue to be depressed. That's option A. And now there's no optimism because Bernie's campaign is dead. It's over. And then there's a pandemic, so I can't, see anybody. I'm all alone, except for my family. But let's be honest, family's not good enough in a lot of instances, right? There's many things that you cannot do with family that you can do with other people. And so that was option one, just be a depressed little loser. Option two, I can improve myself. I'm a piece of shit. That's what I was thinking in April. Okay, well, everyone, it's not it's not like I'm missing out on action or anything. There's a fucking pandemic going on. And no one can go outside, or at least realistically. So it's all right, well, I'll spend this time. I'll become the best version of myself that I could possibly become. And by the time the pandemic is over, I'll be prime. I'll be in my prime. So that was my goal. And I feel like I'm relatively close to accomplishing that goal. So, again, I lost 60 pounds, became a vegetarian. I've been doing more weightlifting. I got more upper arm strength. Not too much. I'm still, frail, relatively speaking. But I've been trying to, juice up a little bit, And, thank you for noticing. But that's not what we're talking about here. What we're talking about here is a fundraiser for an increase in production value for my program. So, what is a good number that like, and again, if this were to like take place over a couple months of fundraiser, and I could just add excess YouTube revenue to the total as well, right? So it's like, once I get my next YouTube check, if I get like, you know, an extra $300 from that, which is unlikely, but if I did, you know, then that would solve that problem. But how much is a good amount of dollars for an overhaul? I was thinking like 300, but if you're telling me a chair is $300, I mean, I don't know if I need a chair. I don't know. I feel like, you know, 30 other people, and maybe anyone who wants to email me or leave a comment in the YouTube version or whatever, I'm sure we can come up with something. I'm sure we can come up with something. But I could do a lot of wacky stuff. Now here's another option. Let's say I do an increase in production value. All right. Now, let's have a cherry on top. Let's say if I did complete this fundraiser and did get a production overhaul, let's say I just make above it all a 2-hour show instead of a 1-hour show every day. Now, is that like an enticing? Would that change the perspective here? Would that make people more willing to give me more dollars? Like, okay, the production value is going to be better, but I'll also double the content I produce. Right? Is that a possibility? Could we, you know, is that like something I could use for the bargaining chips, you know? I don't know. I could also maybe do a 1-hour show in the morning and a 1-hour show in the evening. That's possible. Who knows? Right? There's a lot of options here. I'm a very flexible individual, right? That's what you may not understand. Most YouTubers are not as flexible as I am. In fact, I am willing to say this. I think I am the most flexible YouTuber. And I'm not talking about doing splits, because I can't do that shit. I can barely move my legs, right? But I think I'm relatively, again, I'm an open book when it comes to this stuff. So, if I get increased production value, maybe I'll do more shows. Throwing that out there. What do y'all think? Like, okay, wow, this dumb bitch said that she's going to double the content production. Now I'm going to give her X instead of Y. Like, is that a possible thing? I don't know. I don't often give money to people because I don't have money. I've been poor for a majority of my life. But, I don't know. Like, do you all have jobs? I don't know what the financial status is of you fuckers. I don't know what you spend money on. I don't know. That's why I'm asking. But yeah, I was thinking anywhere between 300 to 500, do a complete overhaul, increase production value, increase the quantity and the quality, do like above it all year 2. Because again, I started this show in the first week of 2020. I spent like December of 2019 planning the outline, and then the first week of 2020 in January, I started the program. And so if we can hit like the 1-year anniversary, and it's like, okay, double the production quality, double the production quantity. I mean, that's a cool, like, I could do a 1-year anniversary program. Like, there's a lot of options on the table here. Not to mention, again, an increase in production value will go to all of the shows for my channel. That includes Cooking with the Bitch. If you like seeing me cook, if you like seeing the creative camera angle montages that I come up with, there you go. They're going to look better. They're going to feel better. I've got a hot series coming up at the end of December, The War on Christmas. The second battle of the War on Christmas. Now, again, if you want to go watch the first War on Christmas, I did that last year. Feel free to go watch the first War on Christmas. It's like a 9-video playlist of me playing The Grinch on PS1, which is a game. You play as the Grinch, and basically you kill children, you kill Santa Claus, and you ruin Christmas for everybody. And that's the game. So I like to, do that. It's a yearly thing I do. And we're this year going to be doing the second battle of the War on Christmas. So Now, I'll give more details on that later, but I will be doing the second battle of the War on Christmas this year. So if I could get the production quality, like, upgrade before the War on Christmas 2, then the War on Christmas will be a little bit, you know, like, that's the thing. It's like, do a collab with another YouTuber. See, here's the thing, Michael DeHart. I am a very anxious person. I'm a very introverted person. I don't know how to do that. And I'm not even joking. Like, this isn't like, oh, look at this LMAO XD. Like, I am, like, do I just send someone an email? Hey, you want to call? Like, whenever I do that, they usually don't respond. And it makes me feel awkward. So, if you want me to collab with someone else, I mean, yeah, it would benefit me. But, like, also, anyone can be my agents. Right? If you want to tell, like, fucking some other YouTuber, hey, I know this bitch. This fucking bastard-ass, bitch-ass hoe. And she has an epic YouTube show. Let's, like, you know, you should hit her up. If someone hits me up, I am much more willing to go about doing stuff. But I could mail you some Kwanzaa payout. I mean, you could. I mean, that I will always accept that. Just kidding. This is a totally legal stream where we do totally legal things, totally legally at all times. Totally legal combustibles at all times. But yeah, so that's my, like, pontification station for today. I don't know if I have anything else to add on that. So let me know what y'all think, and we'll maybe discuss this over the next coming few days. And I'll try to get an outline of what I would need. I would say a microphone is 1, a new tripod is 2. Maybe, like, wireless, like the little earbud thingies. I could do those, so it looks like I'm cordless. I don't know, because, like, as it stands, I got this fucking cord here, right? Like, what is this? Like, 2015, where, like, we're using cords still? Right, I could do that. I could be cordless. Would that make me look better? I don't know. Alternatively, I could, you know, give me a couple more $100 and I could get, like, a uniform. You know, I could wear something that's not, like, you know, I'm cold and this is the only warm clothes I have, because I'm cold. That's my situation right now. There's only warm clothes. I don't know. I'm just throwing that stuff out. I'm trying to make a pity party here. Hello, Suzanne Yuck Ping Pong. Welcome to the broadcast. But again, if you're watching the archive to this, feel free to leave a comment. If you're showing up now and you want to know what I'm talking about, feel free to rewatch the archive. I'm considering doing a miniature fundraiser for production quality overhaul for my YouTube channel. And I'm just thinking of what I would need. I don't think I would need a chair. Are you gonna wait? I mean, I'm not, like, a uniform as, like, I'm just trying to find a way to get people to pay for me to get more clothes. Like, that wasn't a real thing. That, as well as, like, yeah, I mean, I can change clothes in, like, 2 seconds, right? That's easy. But, yeah, so again, if you want to respond to this later, feel free to send me an email. Feel free to leave a comment. That kind of stuff. And, yeah. Also, feel free to tell other potentially more popular podcasters or YouTubers to speak to me. That is also something you can do. This is a group project, everybody. I am delegating as much responsibility to random people that follow me as possible. Like, let's be honest here, right? How many people that are watching this stream right now watched my YouTube channel a year ago? I'm going to go out on a limb and say 0, and maybe, like, 2. Right, so I've got 30 viewers, and it's very possible that only, like, 2 have followed my channel for more than a year. So it's like, should I be delegating this responsibility to people that I barely know? Well, why not? I don't know. Why not? I could. Why not? What could possibly go wrong? I've done it before. I think delegated responsibility for every decision in my life to people that I barely know, and that's usually turned out pretty poorly for me. But hey, whatever. I'll do it again. You need a Daisy Duke outfit for that country biscuit roll you do. Okay, I accept. I accept. I found your channel maybe 2 years ago. Okay. That's interesting. But yeah, I don't really have anything else to say. I'm kind of just like hanging on here for replies. So if you're listening to the audio version of the show, thank you for sticking up with this. If you're not listening to the audio version of the show, then thank you for watching. Etc., etc. And yeah, so this is going to be something I'll maybe bring up again tomorrow. And again, another thing is I stream every day. My schedule is 7 days a week. So that's like another thing. How many people do 7 days a week on their YouTube channel? 7 days a week? You're telling me that this dumb bitch is going to do 7 days a week? That's correct. I do 7 days a week. So, throwing that out there. I actually don't even know how you pop up in my feed. Hell yeah. I found your channel early this year. Amazing. Brown Dragon, I'm dead. That's unfortunate. Nicholas Nordland. For me, it was 2 weeks ago I found your channel. See, that's cool. Megawad Monday. Megawad Monday, a very old project that will never come back. Well, it might. I don't know. Speaking of Megawad Monday, Bodan, and Doom. Doom came out, I believe, on December 13th. That's in, what, 3 weeks? Something like that. Oh, December 13th is on a Sunday. Yo, December 13th is on a Sunday. All right. Sunday Run Day Doom Birthday Edition. There we go. I can't wait till I'm not broke. You're my favorite political streamer. Well, I appreciate that. I also can't wait till you're not broke. That would be great. Collapse. I think I found you from a post on our BreadTube a few weeks ago. Yeah, a lot of people have been posting my clips on Reddit lately. And now, I want to say, I don't use Reddit. I don't really know what the popular subreddits are. But if you want to support this show, a good way to do that would be to share the clips. You can do so on Twitter. You can do so on Reddit. And I know Reddit has rules. I'm not technically allowed to like tell you to post my clips and then everyone like I think that's against the rules. So, but if you want to support the program, if you have like a particular segment that I did that you thought was really funny, feel free to post it on a Reddit page. And feel free to link me the Reddit page because I love reading Reddit comments. And I don't know when people, like, okay, so again, I don't really know how to use Reddit. Can you search Reddit? I don't know. I have no idea. But, if you want to, like, post my shit on Reddit and then, like, send me the link, I'll take a look. But yeah, I mean, like, that's the thing. I don't do any of this shit. So that's all up to everyone else. So yeah, I'm just, again, throwing that out there. You can teach me how to Reddit. Alright, unknown story. Too bad Gazebo's not going to release Thunder Map 20 till the end of the year. I'd love to see you play. I mean, that's only to the end of the year. That's a month away. It's November 20th. Just get freaked to do it again, less ironically. Less ironically, god damn. That's such a... Jesus. I cannot tell you how many people, tremendous people, have found my channel over the last couple years and have cited some of those fan fictions. I really, like, it is tremendous stuff. I got banned from Reddit, I guess. Okay. Why not? I mean, I have a Reddit account, but I'm banned now, I guess. Sub to our BreadTube. Poster context there. Sounds good to me. YouTube's just suggested these streams for me. I don't know why. I think you came on the Joe Biden wins Georgia stream that I did. Will D, I'm going to officially get up and look at mics. Heading out. See ya. Okay. See ya, bud. Just realized I have a mirror behind me. That's correct. I, in fact, own a mirror. There you go. They don't take kindly to commies? Who's they? So our BreadTube doesn't take kindly to commies? YouTube doesn't take who's they? What? I'm surprised you haven't gotten more funding. You're pretty I'm groundbreaking? What? I'm groundbreaking? What ground am I breaking? I'm not breaking any ground. I'm sorry. Actually, no, just kidding. I am breaking ground. So again, are you good? Like, okay, I'm gonna get into the ironic call out post. All right, everyone get ready. Everyone get ready. Okay. So you look at progressive media. What is progressive media? Just a bunch of white, cis, straight guys. Some of them are gay, talking about the same bullshit. I'm sorry. Hey, I love cis, white, straight guys as much as the next person. But goddamn, we need to get some queer motherfuckers into this progressive media sphere, right? You look up a bunch of bullshit, you see white guy, white guy, white guy, white guy. Get rid of the white guys. Say no to white guys. Let's have the queer bitch take over. Let's do it. Now, again, there's a lot of white guys. I love white guys. If white guys want to slide into my DMs, that's perfectly acceptable. But at the same time, if you're going to do so, you have to fund my ventures. You have to give me all of your subscribers. And you have to shut down the production of your show and forward all of your followers to me. That is the only way that things are going to be able to peacefully move forward in a peaceful transition. But the reason I say that there's a lot of white guys is because one of my big issues with progressive media over the last couple years, and again, there's a lot of great people, but there's so many people out there on YouTube specifically, that just do not in any capacity understand and have no attempt at understanding what non-cis straight white guys feel in society. So I'm talking about like these, like, you know, people that think, oh yeah, Trump's not a big deal. You know, Biden's worse than Trump. Like, that's kind of like a severe faction of left-wing cringe, right? But most, if not all of those people are cis straight white guys. I don't care if Trump gets a second term. Doesn't affect me. I'm going to teach the Democrats a lesson. That's basically a cis straight white guy bullshit fucking argument. But there's a lot of people that understand, yeah, Biden is way better than Trump, and that's, you know, duh, like, congratulations. But at the same time, they have no understanding of what it's like being a queer person in society. Like, I've been swatted because neo-Nazis didn't like that I was openly transgender. I have had police break into my home and attack my family because I was openly transgender on the internet. That's not an experience that the cis straight white guys that run the progressive media sphere have ever dealt with. And again, they're great people, wonderful people, but you need some more perspective. So I'm just throwing that out there. I don't know that many transgender, like, political podcasters. If there's other, like, besides me, I'd love, like, that, you know, like, do frequent content like I do. Like, I know there's a lot of trans YouTubers, but, like, not like podcasters that upload every single day that I know of. And if there are, and if you are, feel free to, hit me up. I'd love to have like some sort of a group or, like some sort of thing. But like, I don't know, my frustration, one of my things that one of the reasons why I started the show was one of the, progressive people that I like, and I'm not naming names here for specific reasons, but one of the progressive people that I like, and they're one of my favorite, progressive YouTubers or whatever. I hate the term progressive, and I'm just using it because that's what they say. Made a video about how like equating like the far left with the far right, and it wasn't like a serious argument. It was kind of flippantly, but they were talking about how like wacky lefties want to have like tampons in the men's bathroom, right? And it's like they just didn't understand the concept. And it's like the idea that someone can do YouTube videos from a left-wing perspective for 10 years and not understand that trans men exist. Like, just not know that trans men are things that exist. For 10 years, you can do YouTube videos and just not know that. I mean, I don't know. That's pretty profound. And that kind of just made me realize, yeah, a lot of the people that run this space just have no understanding. And again, it's not saying that they're bad people. They just are ignorant. And there's nothing necessarily wrong with ignorance. That's not wrong. That's not bad. That's not evil. It's not heinous. It's just a lack of experience. And it's a little glaring sometimes. So, just throwing that out there. I'm just ignoring James in the chat room. I'm sorry, man. The dullardry is too much right now. This is some, straight up cringe. They're not funny. They're not intelligent. Maybe a 20 IQ. Let's be real. 20 IQ is putting it very gently. James Sergian's chat messages.
And where it should have stopped is at the deal standpoint, when they thought about it.
That's what I feel about that. But yeah, I mean, again, I just think that there's a perspective that a lot of people don't have, and I'm willing to fill that perspective and gap. So I'm thinking, let's do it. Let's do it, right? I feel that way as a Native American. This stuff drives me crazy sometimes, especially in 2020. Now, one of the things, and again, I mean no disrespect here, but I'm gonna name some names a little bit. The People's Party. I'm sorry. And again, you know me, right? You're I'm not trying to personally shout anyone out and attack anyone. But the People's Party, that is some straight up cringe. The People's Party, and again, it is just extremely cringe. It is extremely cringe. When you've got people like Jimmy Dore up there, and again, Jimmy Dore is I'm just saying Jimmy Dore because I openly dislike that guy, and I'm going to put a lot of people, I'm going to lump that in. Just doing this all Democrats are evil, we need to start a new party bullshit. And then people actually go along with it. The whole People's Party thing is so bizarre to me because it's just a podcast. What did the People's Party do? They did a podcast. Okay. I mean, hey, podcasts are cool. Getting 15 guests on a podcast, I mean, that's cool, right? But it's a podcast. And I feel the seriousness that a lot of these progressive YouTubers, some of them that I watch, there's this faction of people that are supporting this People's Party bullshit. These people have hundreds of thousands of followers that watch all of their content and are getting suckered into this fucking grift. What is the People's Party? They made a podcast. I don't know. That one's just really bizarre to me. But yeah, I mean, again, I wanna shake things up, and that's why I started this pontification station. It's getting a little late, so I think I'm gonna log off here again. I didn't sleep that much last night, so I'm sorry if I'm low energy. Yeah, so does anyone have any final questions for today? And again, every day I stream at the same time, 10 a.m. Eastern Standard, above it all, 7 days a week. Throwing that out there. I recognize that's on us, underrepresented groups. Most of us all need to get out there and be represented. So I'm with you 100%, Cyber. So happy to see you taking the lead here. Yeah, I mean, that's my thing is, again, this is what I said earlier, like, just tongue-in-cheek. If Matt Gaetz can write a book, and the President of the United States can retweet their book, why the fuck am I not writing a book? Right? Like that's the idea here. If people like Jimmy Dore can get, like, millions and millions and millions of views, how come I can't get millions and millions of views? Like, if someone like Jimmy fucking Dore can do that shit, come on, man. Like, I'm 24 years old and I'm more intelligent than Jimmy Dore. Like, I can, like, so that's kind of my thing. It's like, it's just expanding your horizons here. And I'm expanding my horizons. I you know, why not? What the fuck? Why not, right? But, yeah, I mean, that's my thing. That's my thing. Do people read those books, though? Videos reach more people. I mean, books are, I like, Matt Gaetz is a sitting Congress, like, person. Like, someone's going to read that book. I'm just like, let's talk about the book tour. I've been listening to podcasts, I've been watching media long enough to know what a book tour is. A book tour is when someone writes a book, which is basically just a summary of their videos over the last 2 months, and then they go on every single fucking podcast, every single TV show under the sun, and advertise their book. It's a book tour. It's one of the easiest, most abused grifts in human history, I think, is the book tour. People run for president just to sell books. Look at the 2020 Democratic primary. Look at how many people wrote books along with their presidential run. Like, all it is a grift. It's a grift. And that's not to say it's a bad thing. Like, Andrew Yang, total grifter. But, is he a net positive? Maybe. I don't particularly agree with his brand of neoliberalism, but is he a net positive? Sure. Doesn't mean he's not a grifter. And that's the thing. If you have people that are evil, grifting, like Matt Gaetz is writing a book and going on a book tour. Dave Rubin has been going on a book tour for like the last year. Glenn Beck. Like, dude, I went to my thrift store like a year ago, sometime before the pandemic. I went to my thrift store, and in the book section, I found like 12 Glenn Beck books. Like, someone just, like, I guess, like, had a political awakening and gave all their Glenn Beck books to the thrift store. And, dude, it's like, if Glenn Beck can write 15 trillion books and grift until fucking heaven crumbles, why the fuck shouldn't I? Like, it's not even that it's pathetic, Aunt Tifa. You're right, it's pathetic, the whole book tour thing. It's that pathetic people are the ones doing it. That's the pathetic part. So let's say I write a book, even if it's garbage, most people won't read the book. I could just use it to go on a book tour and then just fucking advertise myself. So, I mean, maybe. God damn, I am really, like, tired right now. Jeez. Yeah, I'm kind of just, like, in that state where I'm going to turn the show off at any point. I don't know when, though. I don't know when. The show could still go on for another 10 minutes. I don't know. Yeah. So, again, like, yeah, to summarize, I'm thinking of doing a fundraiser for a production quality overhaul. Microphone, potential new webcam, you know, at least maybe new webcam stand, tripod, that kind of stuff. I'm thinking about doing a little bit of an overhaul to increase the production value so that people would take me more seriously. I might coincide that with doing more content. I might, you know, like, again, if I get a much better show production, I might do 2 hours a day instead of 1. I might do 3 hours a day. I don't know. Again, I'm open to basically anything. And so over the course of the next couple weeks, we're going to maybe start that up and see how it goes. We'll see how it goes. But again, you have to understand here is one thing, and I want to say this up front. I am a very poor person, and I live in a poor family, right? Everyone in my family has less than $100 in their bank account. So it's like, it's totally possible. And I'm just saying this out loud. I'm grifting ahead of time. It's totally possible that, let's say, I get a decent amount of fundraising, and then, let's say the car breaks down. It's totally possible that something like that could happen. So I'm just throwing that out there. I'm not trying to say that I'm going to steal the money and use it on other things. But I am saying I live in a very precarious situation, and I want to make it upfront and explicit that I'm not promising anything. But this is what I want to do. So I'm just throwing that out there. So we'll see. And that's unlikely. That's unlikely. So I'm just like saying, it's totally possible. I could catch coronavirus and have a bunch of medical debt that money would be sucked into. That's totally possible. I could fall down the stairs and break my leg. Any one of these situations are possible. I am Sudan. You're low effort trolling. I'm sorry that the show's almost over, so I'm just going to acknowledge you. Come on, man. Come on. This is embarrassing. This low effort trolling is extremely embarrassing. But yeah, so I'm just throwing that out there. And again, I'm gonna, over the next couple days, come up with some stuff. I think at least a microphone, webcam tripod, better audio, I think, is going to be the main improvement. I think my webcam's okay. Could have maybe a better webcam setup, but I think better audio is going to be the main improvement. And that shouldn't be that much money. So, we'll see how it goes. I have a text message. Truth hurts. Look how edgy I am. If I just say something edgy enough to trigger the streamer, then I can accuse them of being fake. Truth hurts. Yeah, I know that there's a depression going on, and there's record high unemployment, and that you're a transgender woman in a southern state with no worker protections, where most people in your state would want to kill you. But you've never had a real job. So, cancelled. Come on, man. Low effort. Shutdowns and lockdowns could be accompanied with stimulus. Hey, let's say Biden gets in there and we get a stimulus package. I'll refund everyone. If Biden gives us like a $2,000 a month stimulus package, I'll give y'all a refund. Fuck it. So I'm just saying, who knows? I won't do that. I'm not committing to that in any capacity. But there's your fine print. My current camera is fine, but a mic could be good. Yeah, that's kind of what I'm saying. Why don't I just move to where the jobs grow on trees? That's a good question. That's a great question. I am Sudan. I do not know how to drive. Come on, dude. You know this. I've talked about it all the time. This is like saying, oh, well, I know that you're extremely weak, but why don't you just become, I don't know, a shelf stalker? It's dude, I can barely lift 10 pounds. Now, if you want to tell me to, work out over the next 6 months so that I can get a real job, okay, whatever. But again, this, fantastical bootstrap republicanism, it's cringe. It's cringe. You call yourself a real leftist and you're giving me bootstrap Republican talking points? Yeesh. Some bad stuff. But yeah, thank you all for watching today's episode of the Pontification Station. I will be back tomorrow at 10 a.m. If you want to listen to this podcast in audio form, it will be on anchor.fm. And all that stuff, like the stream, give me money, send me emails, make my life worth living, because I can't do that by myself. I do not have the chemicals in my brain. I need to outsource that stuff. So that's why I do this show. I'm an attention whore. I cannot possibly be satisfied from my own body. I need to outsource my dopamine. So, thank you. Y'all have a good one. I will see you again very soon.
They had a very bad original concept. It was carried out poorly, and the cover-up was one of the worst in the history of cover-ups. Very simple. Bad deal, should have never been thought of. Somebody really messed up, and they had the worst cover-up ever. And where it should have stopped is at the deal standpoint, when they thought about it, because whoever thought of that idea, I think is in big trouble.
No good. No good.
Not good. Believe me, not good.
Tweet. That was an opinion of somebody. Tweet. That was an opinion of somebody.
All of a sudden, we can't talk about Neanderthal DNA anymore.
Running against the worst candidate in the history of presidential politics puts pressure on me. Could you imagine if I lose my whole life? What am I going to do? Whole life, what am I going to do? I'm going to say, I lost to the worst candidate in the history of politics. I'm not going to feel so good. Maybe I'll have to leave the country. I don't know.
And by the way, I don't think that's some grand conspiracy. I think this is sort of what power is. I mean this at a sort of high level. Like power, once it starts, I mean this at a sort of high level, sort of high level, sort of high level, sort of high level.
Well, you have to understand, the first time I ever heard of Black Lives Matter, they were chanting pigs in a blanket, talking about police. Pigs, talking about our police. Pigs in a blanket, fry them like bacon.
The battle of righteousness versus Satan. Yes, Satan. Because these leftists are evil.
Bottom line, the American dream, the great American dream versus being a socialist hellhole.
And he's like this, and we were, I need water, help me, I need water, help. And this is on live.